Invitation sent. Let me know if it's on. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
All
Hello.
right. Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
Fine. How are you guys?
It's hard.
I hear that. I hear sassiness, but hey, that's just how
Yeah,
we are.
that's just how our family is, you know.
Mhm.
So, real quick, I'm gonna do a quick introduction since we got thrown off track real fast here. Real quick, my name is Mike Manicki. I'm an author of thriller books or fantasy, everything. My daughter here is co-host of the Nightwriter Myths Legends show, and I am super excited. Thank you about the gifts.
Thank you.
Super excited to have a special guest on tonight. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I'm going to go a little bit around her, and then kind of delve in. But we do got a really great show tonight. I'm glad that a lot of you guys were able to come and support us. So real quick, Sandy, go ahead and tell us who you are and a little bit about White Raven Holistic.
Well, my name is Sandy, of course, and which we are cousins. We've grown up together for we used to go to each other's house all the time when you lived in Missouri. Um, let's see, I've been a paramedic for 30 years. I have raised 13 kids. And I get to retire next year.
Nice.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. I've been in EMS for 30 years on top of dealing with all my kiddos. And I used to have a metaphysical store, which was called Sisters Holistic. I did Reiki, tarot readings, crystals, and we also done seances, and I cleanse houses. A couple little gatherings here and there when we were there, but as you know, my dad, Uncle Earl, got
Uncle
sick.
Earl.
So yeah, so I had to choose the shop or dad. So I chose dad, of course. And then as I got settled down, I went ahead and started White Raven Holistic, which is functional medicine, holistic medicine. I am a functional medicine practitioner and a whole health coach as well. So I'm going to be launching that in January, and basically online. But I've dealt with a lot of grief in the last 5 years, and just kind of crawled myself out, and I'm just sharing how I did that. So that's by holistic and functional medicine. So
Perfect.
that's me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's actually extremely impressive.
It's incredibly impressive.
Incredibly impressive. I will give you credit. So a lot of people don't know, like she mentioned, me and her are cousins. So when we was a kid, growing up, we used to go to each other's house, and she lived in Fredericktown, which you guys in the comments have known about because I did a book that was loosely based off the name. And Sandy ended up raising a lot of her sister's kids and family like that. So she did raise 13 kids by herself. And I do give her credit for that because they did extremely well. They became head cheerleaders. Some of them were in the military, giving their service, and that is extremely impressive. EMT, that's a really hard job. People don't understand it, but I spent about 20 years in alternative medicine myself, and EMTs, you guys got a very stressful job. So trying to juggle all that and still be out there help saving other people's lives, that's amazing. Truly impressive. Something that should be a book probably be even written about it. For the holistic part of it, I did see that for a while there. We'll go. Remind me to go back because I got you, as you probably know, being an MT. I have over 20 documented concussions. Right, my head's been beat around quite a bit, so things have been jumbled over the years, so I lose track. I did want to touch a little bit on. You did have a shop, you said before. When you guys used to go out, I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you guys used to go out in the woods, collect your own sticks, and then make your own brooms and stuff like that. Was that correct?
That is correct. We sell them actually here in the area. We don't ship them or anything because we get pre-orders and we meet the people or talk to them. And we go out into the woods with what they have said they wanted. We pick the staff for them. Some people want certain sigils carved or runes or whatever they choose. and we fix them up and make them, and we bind them how they want, like a bind with strength or protection for their house, because a lot of people put them, they hang them up in their house and or at their doorways. So depending on how they want, we hand deliver them. So yeah, we do that every year. We have it's called the Witches Night in Kimswick around our area. So we usually have a bunch of big orders for that. It's a big ordeal there, about 45 minutes away. So we make them.
That's actually really cool. I saw a couple of them online, and they were really nice.
We actually have a question from Rain. What's
Okay.
the most popular bind?
So yeah, Rain, one of my favorite followers on here. Now I can't say that; all the other ones will kill me. Rain's awesome. Her question to you was, what was the most popular bind?
For the brooms?
Yes.
Okay. The most one was, which is really an odd thing to ask. Not odd thing, but it was protection, but courage was over protection. Courage to have fun and release the negative energy they had. That was the most bind, which is an unbind kind of, but bind for courage.
That's actually really cool, though. I mean, so the brooms, they all like are being personalized. Like it's like you're saying, it's being handcrafted. It's actually coming from nature. It's not something that's being made in a manufacturer. You're going out and specifically doing what they're ordering and doing them. And you're talking about runes and stuff on there too. So like wards or protections and stuff like that, correct?
Yes, built-in layers basically on the broom. So the certain people ask for certain ones, but and a lot of times the ones who want something specific, they will come to where we make them at and approve my drawing first, and then they'll either be there with us, and then we will do an incantation with them as we bind the broom. It just depends on what they are wanting. So I love to personalize it for them.
That's actually really cool. A little bit of an extra touch there.
Yeah.
And you guys still do this once a year. So I know you mentioned it already. Just for a real quick though, for backtrack, what was the name of where they could go and get their own brooms and stuff like that for like in the local area and stuff?
So I am in San Francisco County, Missouri, is where I am. So,
Okay.
and then they could, if they are in this area, which I don't, again, I don't ship. I don't mind driving like to St. Louis or south, which would be Cape for me, but not much further than that.
Okay.
So,
And then when we talk about like, so, and when we talk about mythologies, go and take them over there. So when we talk about like, myths and legends and stuff like that, I know that like for some cultures around the world, we start to see like where there's a little bit of truth in every myth, but then for some people, myths are actually the truth, and the myth is just kind of around that truth. Just depends on what location and where you come from and stuff. So when we talk about in a lot of the books, especially like the ones I write and stuff, I actually have reached out to you a couple times on like the witch lore and stuff. Now, you have witches that you see in a lot of the books and stuff that they talk about. You have Wicca, you have druids in books and stuff like that, and then you have pagans. I want to kind of touch just a little briefly on like all four. On like whenever I was a kid around 24, I think it was, I hit that goth phase where I dressed like all the characters from the Lost Boys, the movie. I had the long flowing hair and everything. And
But I get made fun of when I dress alternative.
don't listen to her. So I was all into it, but I actually went and studied a bunch of Wicca on how it was, and it talked about like the triple goddess, and it had nothing to do with like some of the negative connotations that everybody was, that they put in movies. I even have a couple of books of magic that I used to do, but just check out. And then I did have my own tarot set that I was able to actually do pretty well. Can you give us a little bit of background on how Wicca and witches of kind of maybe like truth and myth on them?
okay. Yeah. So, and this is how I see it. So, pagan is the circle, and then you have Wiccan inside of a part of the pagan part, and then you have each of the other sections. So you have like the Norse gods, you have the Egyptian gods and goddesses. So you have everything is in there. So not every Wiccan is a witch, not every pagan is a Wiccan, um, and not every witch follows in one circle. So you have each people have different views on how it should be. So Wiccan is more of an organized, and I don't like the religion because I don't like labels, but Wiccan is more organized, more like and it's just for reference of Christianity. So you have Christianity as the circle, then you have like the Baptist, the Lutheran, the Methodist. So that is what I'm saying as the pagan as the circle, and then you have all the other circles around it. So
Okay.
that's kind of like the gist of all of that. And again, like, and then you have different types of witches, which there's some people who believe in white magic, gray magic, black magic. You have the voodoo, the hoodoo. There's just so many different things. And then you have the people who collect from each one to make their own. Like a lot, that's me. I don't stick with one. I do a bunch of different things that I feel is comfortable for me.
I think that's brilliant the way you put it, though, because when you look at like most stuff, and you look at there's a lot of I don't know if I'm saying the word correctly because I'm not that intelligent, but like cognitive connections. I don't know. It's basically if you look at a lot of things in anything, everything revolves around a circle. Martial arts, Kempo, you deal with a clock, a circle. When you're fighting from an angle, you're going from this way. You keep a 6-foot circle around you. If someone steps in, it becomes same thing in military. You want to keep in that circle. All the planets circle, and then the circle of life. And then you look at, like you just said, like with certain religions, it's a circle. And then, so pagan, you got the bigger circle, and then you got like these subsets in there. And there's kind of like a little bit of each, but one dominant factor, and then kind of a little bit of each tied together. So the way you put it, I think I just messed up how elegant you put it and just did a really bad job.
You did good. That's fine.
And try to reiterate that. Now, I do want to touch a little bit on the magic since the show's really hyped up on myth and legends. And a lot of authors that are you guys, because I do have a lot of authors in the comments. This is really great research and kind of getting a different perspective that you can use in your books, because I've written a couple books with witches in it, and I got spells and magic and stuff on there. I did dabble a little bit with some spell books back in the day when I was in that phase, and I still have a couple of them. But like you said, they're in Wicca. From whatever I remember, it was nothing really. There was no negative. It was all just like very positive. It was all being in tune with the earth, your environment around you, the trees, the nature. Because we're part of it, and that's where you would draw the source of the magic. Whether you were using certain herbs to make up a potion, or maybe like a paste or something like that to put onto into the circle or to the body part. I know that from healing and with medicine, we used to take and just grind it, like white willow bark is basically aspirin. You would do that, or you put it on the poultice. Tell us a little bit about like the little bit of the most common things that, let's say, witches would use the magic for the good. Let's stay away from like a little bit of the negative right now, but like on the goods, what's some of the things that they would use the spells? So we know, like you said earlier, it's your courage and protection, but what else would they might use?
Well, let's see. So I'll just do a couple examples of what I've done mine for. So, um, I have done spells to be able to do the foresight, to look at, to dream and specifically think about something. So I would use certain herbs to either put myself to sleep and think about what I need. So just like a poem is the incantation. So words are very popular or very potent. So the things that you say truly is a thing as well. To understand, a lot of it is to understand what you're seeing. People have natural psychic abilities, and sometimes that scares that person. So a lot of times they will use and I'll say protection is general, but it truly is, do I want to be that mediumship person, or do I want to speak to that person that's knocking on my wall? So they're either using that as to learn how to control that. They're trying to make sense of what is around them. And in order to do that, that becomes the nature of what we do. So we ground, like, I walk around barefoot a lot. If you look at some of my other social media things, I'm a very big grounder. So I ground barefoot. I walk in the snow barefoot, like the first snow season. So, and I'm doing it for, to not be sick for the year. And that is an old Indian wise tale from our grandma. Um, so it just depends on what you're truly looking for. There's just so much that goes with it. Wiccan is about the natural things that are around it. Some of them do an altar, but not every one of them does. Like I said, not every Wiccan is a witch, but and not every pagan is a witch either. But they do use the natural things in the house. So we'll take right now is Yule. Winter solstice. So we're taking the pine, bringing it in, you're bringing in the holly, you're bringing that joy in your house to celebrate the winter and to begin to get ready for summer, because the winter solstice is the next day, your light becomes more. So
Yeah. So you touched on a couple things there that was really interesting. So, one, when we look at poetry, I got a few friends like Mia MP in the comment that does amazing poetry.
Mia also asked a question of, are you a Wiccan witch?
Oh, so okay, that's a good question. She's not, but I'll go ahead and let Sandy answer it. So Mia, which does very beautiful magic, and she was telling me that down in where she's at, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mia, but you mentioned something about being where witches are and stuff like that. Are you a Wiccan, a witch, or a pagan? I know the answer, but they want to know.
I'm a pagan. I am not Wiccan. I'm pagan. I bring different things to me that I need. I don't follow just one circle. I have different ones that I use for me. So like if I go somewhere and I see something that's Egyptian and it catches my attention, what I do is, why is Horus popping out to me and trying to speak to me? So I'm looking for that reason to why. Like, what is happening in my life at this time that I need that God is talking to me, or the goddess is talking to me. So that is what I personally believe. But no, I am not Wiccan. I don't believe in the power of three like Wiccans do. I don't think that what I throw out, I get back 3 times. I don't believe that either. Now, do I believe in karma? Yes, 100%. But I mean, that's what morals come in, but that's just me. Someone had made a question about the elements, and I am very big on elements. I do have a tattoo. My name is White Raven, and the White Raven is my spirit animal. And I have a tattoo of 4 birds on my clavicle, and that's for earth, air, water, fire, and spirit, because I believe in the 5 and not 4.
Yeah.
So I have the 3 raven. I have 3 ravens that are black and 1 that is white. So yes, I do have that as well. And the magic side of it. So most people think like Harry Potter magic, and that's not what it's about. That is not it. I would love to like snap my fingers and have in front of me, my cup of coffee like you guys were talking to, but that's not how that really works. So, but do I believe in intentions and what you set? 100%. I do believe that we bring what we want into existence.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Like you saying that is my dad used to tell me all the time. Like it's like words have an effect all the time, right? So, like poetry in general, we'll get back to that in a second. But my dad used to tell me, like, if you say, "Hey, I'm sick of going to work. I'm sick of going to work," eventually you will make yourself literally sick every time you go to work. It's what you bring in, right? It's a
Yes.
positive energy. And I agree with you on karma. I got enough holes poked in my body from doing stupid things, and some karma from that. But I do know, like, whenever I was studying like the Wicca and stuff like that back in the day, we know that poems throughout history in different civilizations, all the way back from mythology of Norse, Greek, the Vikings, Egyptians, where the poetry was linked to power. And I'm not talking about like, the power. We're talking about the power of becoming more well-being. We're more, like you said, grounded and to help us grow. And that's the reason why when you read a poem, even if we don't really want to put magic to it, you just read a poem that makes you feel good. That's changing the thing. Just like you said with bringing stuff into the house and the senses. One of the things I was going to ask about is how important is breath work in, because you mentioned Reiki and a couple of the other ones. I do know that whenever let's say that in military terms, whenever you're trying to take a shot, you actually take a deep breath and you let out the breath before you pull the trigger. Therefore, it stays stable. Or if you go into a hardcore situation, you have to learn to be able to control your breathing in a certain intense area. Otherwise, you would hyperventilate and then it could be fatal. So you wanted to make sure that breathing is controlled. But I also know that when we did magic, you would actually have to control the breathing. How important do you feel that plays into that?
Well, I think that when you're doing spell work and you're bringing those elements in, to be calm is very important because you want to have your mind as calm as possible for what you're saying. So breath work is very important in that aspect as well. I agree with you.
Okay. And on your YouTube, I noticed that you had your daughter. I know you helped out like a whole bunch of children, but you have like how many children per
I
se?
I have 10 kids all together as far as between me and TJ, which is his, hers, ours, and somebody else's. So I've been married. This is my third marriage, but we've been together for 24 years.
Nice.
So my second husband, he had two kids, and when we split up, I kept them. So that's part of the 10. And so I have five, six boys and a total of four girls.
Well, now you got even more congratulations for me because I can barely tolerate this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I totally and absolutely love it. But yeah, so the five boys are around me. My girls, one is around me, but all three of the other ones are out and about. Like one is in grad school to be a lawyer. The other one is in med school to she'll have her BA and RN, and then the youngest girl is in the Army.
Yeah, I saw her. She was in the Army. Go Army. The whole family
Yeah.
is, man. It's
These-
crazy. Like
it
everybody in the
is-
family.
yeah.
Incredible people raise incredible kids.
Yeah, I mean that is, so my daughter just said incredible people raise incredible kids. So that is true in this case. Now, I do see that you had one of your daughters on the show on one of the episodes. I do know that you have a YouTube show where you
Yes.
talked a little bit about that whole holistic healing, the White Raven hippie holistic healing. Can you give us a little background on that show on the YouTube?
Yes. So it's a White Raven Holistic, and so it's kind of it's a bunch of working pieces together because we have to have the holistic part in it because I've always been taught as going to the doctor was the right thing to do, as older, but Grandma Barnes and stuff, she was all about the Indian medicine, and I've have seen it work a lot of times as I was growing up. So that daughter, me and her, my program that I make is a 10-week program, and I help people deal with burnout and stress. And I bring in those core values of the holistic approach, the minerals, vitamins, teas, herbs, oils if that's what the person needs, but nutrition as well, bring in that as well. And she done the program with me because I felt like, well, if I couldn't do the program and I couldn't bring her in it because she has high anxiety, like panic attacks like crazy. And if I couldn't do it myself, then why would I sell something that I couldn't physically, do? So that is what that channel is about, as far as doing the basis of it to show that, here it is. This is what I'm offering people.
Yeah, so like I said, like I was in, I went to school for homeopathy, Ayurvedic, and then traditional Chinese medicine, and then I ran a couple of vitamin shops for many, many years, and it really does. Like ever since you're a kid, you get rushed to the hospital all the time, and on alternative medicine, I found out that I could actually heal a lot more stuff, and to this day, I don't take painkillers despite all the severe damage I have to my body. I don't take any painkillers. I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs. Not promoting that on live. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just saying, for me personally, I still go to the doctor when I need to, but I've seen alternative medicine work. So I agree with you on that. A little bit more of a natural approach. If you got time, there's some things that modern medicine has its place for sure. But I used to have a medicine bag with me that I would carry. For the people in the audience, we are part Native American, the whole family, on it. So we do dip my father, which Sandy knows well. He was very big on that side with natural healing all the way up until the time he passed, which was just recently. And then we used to, the herbs, me and him would have a whole chest full of natural herbs. Like we used to make or ground them up and make our own medicines. I even, there was a few times when the one time I got stabbed in the chest and I was out far enough away that I couldn't get to doctor in time. And I just had a medicine bag that I had put on there and patched it up and just let it heal myself. So I'm really glad that you're bringing that on there into the show. I watched a couple of episodes. I found it very, very educational. And on that show, I've only seen a couple of episodes, but how often do you have a set pattern on when you're going to release the next episodes, or what time should these folks tune in to really check you out and kind of get a little bit better feel for the show and what you do?
I'm getting ready to release the actual program, a little bit more on that within the next couple weeks. I was hoping before Christmas, but my husband got sick, so that kind of put me back another week, and then Christmas, Rose will be home. So it probably won't be until after the new year that I'll put new content in. I'm kind of just sprinkling things right now to show, here are the things to do. I love the meditation. I taught meditation at my shop. So it'll be definitely after the new year. I have my content ready to start pushing it out.
Perfect. And I do encourage everybody in the audience. Sandy is really good. I've been watching her, and like I said, we're cousins, but she's amazing. So definitely check out her YouTube channel. We'll try to put some links. I'll start, put it out. You guys can find it on my YouTube channel. It's linked to mine. I'll take and try to figure out how to do that. But that is really cool. I did watch a couple episodes, very impressed. Now, I just want to touch a little bit on the tarot card reading. So, because, some of I write down as I go. This show's chaotic because I don't really plan out the questions. I just shoot from the hip. The tarot cards, I used to do that quite a bit back in the day. And I know that some authors had reached out to me about, when they talked about it and they were doing research on it. On the tarot cards, you do have to kind of make those your own, right? So when you get a deck, I've heard that it's supposed to be just yours, and it's got to be tied to you somehow. Has that ever come up?
What has come up? So a lot of the older pagans and the older Wiccans believe that your first deck should be gifted to you. Do I listen to tradition like that? No, I do not. I'm very much a rebel person. I buy my own. I've never had any problems with it. But each person does different things. You have so many different types of tarot. So, you have the classic tarot, and then you have the oracle cards. I always say, because then, even in my shop, when people come to when they came to pick theirs out, I'm like, just put your hands over the boxes and see which one feels warm or cold or says come home. And those are the cards for you. And a lot of the cards have great artwork and they have a great illustration book, but I've never been much on what anybody else says. I go by my own intuition, and that is how I use my cards. Is if the card or the person's energy pops up and it's telling me something different than what that illustration does, then I read what my intuition says. This is what I'm hearing for you. This is your, because I always ask when I do read for 3 of their spirit guides to come in with me, because I have to put limitations around my circle. Otherwise, I get so many visitors in at one time and I just can't hear it. It's like walking into, Disney World Land. I don't know which one it is by you, but
Disney World.
Disney World. So it's like walking there and you have all these people and they're all stuffed in the room. So I have to just like, okay, I only want 3. And a lot of times, that's what comes through, and they'll ask certain questions, and the universe definitely does not listen either. But they do try to give the person the right type of guidance that they need, maybe not what they want, but what they need. So that is how I do my tarot. I pick the card deck that the person, as they talk to me, that is what I pick out. So when I read, I have several different decks next to me, and whatever energy they pop in at my table, that's the deck I use. Whatever crystals call to me for them, there's a reason and a rhyme to it, but I don't know it until I talk to them. And then usually when I read and I have those crystals next to me, they're specifically for them. So example, amethyst, a rose quartz, a clear quartz, or, an onyx. There's a reason why those were picked for them. And usually I don't know it until I'm reading for them. And then I know, oh yeah, that was because, you needed the onyx for protection, and you needed the amethyst because you're trying to tap into your psychic side. And this is for you to say time to stop or whatever, so that is tarot for me. And then you have like the pentacles and the cups and all that. I never was big on that one because that was very confusing for me. I'm more of a oracle reader than a tarot reader. That's just because I do my own intuition, like I just explained. So
Got it. And then on a lot of when we talk about even in fiction books and stuff like that, but we also see around the world that almost every let's say go back to Greek mythology, Norse mythology, pagan Wicca and stuff. We see a lot of talk about charms, magic. I wouldn't say magical charms, but just charms.
they're talismans. They usually
There
call
you
them
go.
talismans.
Yeah, I can never get it right. So the talismans and stuff like that. So a lot of cultures have it for different reasons, different religions, different groups, different whatever. And there's a lot of talk about the talismans and the power that they hold. So in, let's say, that circle of paganism and the Wicca and then witches and stuff, does talismans come into play quite a bit, or is that more of just a myth?
It comes in play. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, it's about what that person wants. So I make the talisman for sometimes the brooms, or I used to have a lady who made the necklaces with the copper wiring, and it just depends on the charms that the person wants. So what are they wanting, and that is usually what they're asking. A lot of people don't know what they're asking until they sit down and they talk to me. Like they'll tell me what their problem is or what is happening, and what they're thinking they need protection, but truly and honestly they need grounding to open their foresight to accept what is coming to change. So that for them could look like the tree of life, or it could look like a acorn that they found on the ground, and they just can't keep it off their, out of their pocket. Or they walked down a river and they saw a river rock that just looked pretty and it called to them. A talisman is something like that. You use it for that, or you use it like you're going on a trip and you just want to be able to have something tangible in your hand. It could be that smooth rock that you just picked up, and when you went for your hike, it could be anything.
Yeah, I do. I used to have quite a bit when I was young. I had a talisman that I always kept with me, and it definitely kept me alive in situations and stuff. So I always was very big on that. Dad had something like that too.
You had the seashell necklace in the car for the longest
Yeah,
time.
for the longest time we had a. I forgot how I got it, but someone had gifted me a seashell necklace when I was in Hawaii, and it meant a lot. It was, in Hawaiian beliefs, there's called the breath of life. Like aloha means like the breath and then water. And whenever you used to go up to a Hawaiian elder in Hawaii, you would have to actually put your hand behind each other's head, put the foreheads together, and you breathed back and forth. That was the breath of life, and then you were accepted
Hmm.
into them, right? And they had given it to me. Like I had done something for one of the elders with health, and I helped them get past it. And they did this like kind of ceremony. They gave me this necklace, and I had put it in my car. And I don't know how many times it could be it could be whatever. But I honestly felt the one reason why I never had a car accident ever was because that thing was in there. And
And I agree. Like I have, I think that everyone has something to that effect. I love the talismans. I make them for my kids all the time.
Yeah, and then Dad actually had one. Like my father, he had a talisman that he actually no one really knew about it, but he actually kept it on him quite a bit. And then he always told me it was actually it was a bone of some sort. I forgot what it was. It was like a little small bone. It was around a metal clasp, and he had it on a chain, but it was a small chain. But he always had it in his dresser drawer, where he had it with him at all times. Sometimes like that. I asked him like a couple of years before he passed about it, and he was telling me about that as well. So very very interesting. So the last part of the show, we're at the 20-minute mark out of there. I know that some of my audience is dying to know a little bit about us as kids. I don't remember too much, but I do know that some of them asked me privately to ask a couple of questions that might be in there. So forgive me if I don't remember anything because, like I said, I've gotten quite a few blows to the head. Um, there are a couple times I remember, and tell me if I remember this correctly. Um, the house that we used to come down and visit you guys down on Fredericktown. I was there about for my dad's funeral a couple of years ago, and I drove through there one time, stopped at this place called Old Mine Restaurant, right by the town circle, and we went by your old house. And I remember briefly that I was sleeping. We were on one of the third floor or something like that, and I don't know. It was one of you guys that told me that the wall had a door there that was. It was sealed off because there was like a ghost in there, and then like that later that night, I got stuck sleeping next to that wall. And I swear
That
to
is
God, all
fun.
night long, I just heard something clawing at the
That
wall.
is that is so funny. So yes, the house was done pre-Civil War time. The house itself had it was in the history books of our middle school in that town. And matter of fact, I actually swiped one of those books when I was younger, but it actually burnt up in one of the little fires Dad had. But I did swipe the book. We were in history books. We learned it in the town we lived in, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was used as an old slave house back in the Civil War. Um, so it was about 3,300 to 3,500 square foot on the top. The back end, the look had 4 stories, and the front end had three because the back end was a little bit taller. But yes, the top floor had a steeple. It had stainless glass windows in it, and that was considered the chapel. And then you had the three other bedrooms, and each one of those rooms had we called a trap door, but it was a door to part of the attic. So yes, there was a door for each one of those and those other 3 rooms.
Do you
And
remember
then
the ghosts?
are they ghosts? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there are ghosts in that house 100%.
Yeah, because I remember that as a kid. It was like I got stuck along that wall. And it's funny for the people in the comments. Uncle Earl is probably Uncle Earl's like a second dad to us, like Sandy's dad. Phenomenal guy. But there was quite a few times when fires happened.
He, well,
I got the
he
trailer.
he was big on duct tape, man. If he wanted something fixed, he would do the duct tape. I swear to goodness, like I still have my mom's car. It's the 71 Malibu, and
Yeah,
me and my husband have fixed it a few times, and I swear to goodness, there's duct tape on that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Dad, can you like not just enough with the duct tape?
he
But
burnt
yes.
he burnt down like well didn't he burn down like actually like two houses or something? I don't remember.
No, well, the house in Grassy, which is like, I mean, you hear the stories about the banjos playing. The banjos stopped playing. Like it was silent. It was so far in, BFE. But that house actually burnt down because we had a big old snowstorm. I was literally like maybe 4 years old, 3 or 4. That one did burn down because of that. It put in the back end of that house, and then we got a trailer on that property, and the water heater caught on fire. So that's when the parents sold that property, and that's when we moved to Fredericktown.
Got it.
So
There was this one time, I don't know if you remember this. This is funny. So one thing that Earl used to always say, at least that I could remember, would be that's a humdinger. He would always
a
say
humdinger.
humdinger. He was like, that's a humdinger. So
Yep.
one time we're this okay, I got to prep for this story because this is like one of my favorite stories.
Is this the trailer?
Yeah. Dad used to tell it all the time. But so we all went on a road trip as kids, and Earl had he had a truck, a pickup truck, and it had a camper shell in the back. And it was you and the twins in the back, or maybe it was just the twins. I can't remember. And so, in case people don't know in the comments, Sandy has twin sisters. Hence the book Twins, which was not based off of them. It was just because that was like twins, right? But anyways, we were driving. This is probably back in the early 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, probably around the late 70s, early 80s. And Earl's driving in his truck and with the camper on it. And my dad, we're all in a station wagon. It was me, Dad, Mom, and I think Denise and a couple of my sisters were in the car. And my dad and your dad were communicating by CB radio, right? And they had their own trucker handle or whatever, because your dad, I think your dad was like a trucker at one time, so they were communicating on the radios. Well, my dad sees your dad way ahead, and your dad was towing a boat, right? There was a boat on a trailer. There was a boat on the back of it, but he was because we were all going to go fishing, and smoke starts billowing out of the back of the truck, out of the camper shell. And my dad's calling your dad, but it's not going through. So one of the truckers calls in and tells Earl that, hey, someone's trying to get a hold of you. Well, Dad speeds up, and he goes over to Earl, and he's waving to Earl to like pull over. And Earl's all waving back. Dad's all like, no, pull over. So Earl pulls over. Dad runs out, and he grabs the twins out of the back, and he pulls the bed.
Mattress.
The
The mattress, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the mattress caught on fire.
Yeah, the muffler fell off. That's what it was. The muffler fell off, and we had a twin mattress back there because that's how we traveled. That's when we traveled in caravan. That's just how we done it. And we were back there, and we had signs. Because you had the window on the camper shell, and then you had the window on the truck. And unless they opened the truck window, you couldn't hear. So we have signs to put in the rearview mirror, and he wasn't paying attention. And we're yelling like crazy because, it's boiling with smoke in there and everything. And here we are coming out. We're all choking, and all this stuff comes out, and you can see a big old hole in the mattress. Yes, 100% remember that. That is so crazy that you remember because you were young.
Yeah, the best part about that story was that Dad runs out and he's trying to pull the twins and you guys out of the back. Earl comes out after we were trying to wave him down for like a good mile, I think. And he's just waving back like, hey, Uncle Steve. And we get him to pull over. Dad goes in there and Dad pulls out you guys out, and they finally get the mattress that's on fire and they throw it on the field. And Earl, he just kind of leans against the truck and he's just watching the mattress go up. Like my dad's over there trying to get you guys to make sure you guys can breathe and everything.
He was just so relaxed.
He was like, Earl, your dad was always relaxed.
Just so nonchalant.
He's just like chilling. He's just watching the fire. And my dad turns around after it's already burnt to the ground. My dad turns around and he's like, "Hey, Earl, isn't that a fire extinguisher?" Earl looks back and it's on the boat and he goes, "Yeah, that's a humdinger." It was just,
that is Dad. Oh my gosh, that is so true. Jeez Louise.
God, Uncle Earl was the best, man. I got this. He was here the last day he was here a couple of years ago. And it was actually here in Florida. Mom and Dad had just moved here. We all moved here about 10 years ago from Hawaii. And he made sure to have the dinner before he left, like on the way out of town. It was just with us.
It was at Gold Crown.
Yeah, it was at Golden Crow. He took just me. He just wanted to be.
The man wanted a buffet.
Yeah.
He wanted a buffet and family.
He loved his buffet, but he just wanted me. He just wanted to spend time with me, and I thought that was like something because he was like a second uncle. And but Earl was he all of us kids. We loved him to death.
What is the nickname that Denise used to call him? What is it?
No, I used to call him because what happened is they went hunting one time, and my dad didn't want to go hunting, but they all convinced my dad to go out hunting, squirrel hunting. And you got to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, Earl, they didn't catch nothing. Well, Earl gets a squirrel, and you know when you're supposed to you got to be careful of what I'm on when you're cleaning it and stuff like that. Well, he didn't do a good job or something like that, and my dad nicknamed him Uncle Squirrel. So we all kind of ran with it for years.
Did he also not have a hat that had the tail on it?
No, he gave me the tail. I had a cowboy hat with that tail. Like I actually had that for ages. I had a black cowboy hat with the squirrel tail from that he had from that instance. And but he got that labeled, that nickname from my dad for like a long time.
Yep, so, Earl the Squirrel. Yep. Oh yeah, that was so good, man. That's so good. Yeah, absolutely. I never knew the story behind it. I just know that you guys called him that all the time.
Yeah, because of that squirrel incident. And then I remember one time where you guys had a house that was next door to it, and it was really, in Fredericktown, the buildings are really unique because they're like, it goes back from, like you said, back before, like around the Civil War time, and they were like these very unique homes. And I believe we snuck into the neighbor's house. It was like all empty and abandoned, but we went through the back and we went in there and it was just like going through a ghost story. It was like you look in the corner, there was like a dowel. I freaking hate dowels. I got this.
I hate dowels too. Me too. I can't stand them.
No, I got like severe PTSD off of freaking dowels. They can't even be in my house. I hate those damn things. Just now makes me cringe. But when we were going there, we would go around into it. It was like ghost hunting, like amateur ghost hunters when we were kids. But do you remember when we went into that house when we were kids?
Yeah. So when you face the house, there's 3 big houses, one on each side of us, and that was the one to the right because that one was the one that was abandoned the most. Yes, I remember going in that one. And do you remember going into the cemetery across the street?
No, I don't remember the cemetery.
You don't remember the cemetery across the street?
No, I don't
man,
remember.
We used to scare Tasha. Shoot, we used to scare your Denise and them a lot with that.
Oh, so when we used to go across, I know there was like there was a church or something that used to.
Yeah, it's a Catholic church across the street. Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, we used.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we used to go in the other house, the back door. There was a latch that you could open to get in.
Yeah, I remember that we would go over and we'd stay over at your house. That damn church would have the bell go off every hour.
Oh, so good Lord.
Yeah, yes. Just as soon as you fell asleep. This was like right outside the house, right? So like right across the street. And, first of all, I'm already terrified because of all the ghost stories you guys had me convinced were in the house. And then I'm laying there, and as I start to go to sleep, all you hear is bong, bong, every freaking hour. That was horrible. I don't know how you guys did that.
You got used to it. You just got used to it. It was fun. Like I had so much fun there in that house. Matter of fact, there was a few times that I actually went back to buy that house, and that they just destroyed it. They took out all the history from it and threw it all away in the dumpster. Every bit of the original piece of that house, they stripped it down to the actual shell.
Oh, and then rebuilt it.
Well, they said they rebuilt it, but if you look at the pictures, it's terrible. It's just, oh, god awful ugly
Yeah.
on the inside.
Do you remember the one time that we had the police pull up on us? So I.
Oh my gosh, yes, I do. We were
So,
so bad.
so it was like, because I think it was at nighttime, and there was like this little concrete pillar on the road, and we all three, it was me, you, and Denise. I don't know if the twins were with us, but we got up on there and we were flashing like peace symbols.
Peace.
And
Oh,
like,
oh man, you don't remember the tomatoes? Because we went in the garden first and was throwing tomatoes first.
oh, whoa, what did we do?
We were we were throwing tomatoes.
I
That might
thought
have
I
been just
never
me and
got this
Denise.
story.
But
This was
we
All
never
right.
told to me.
all right.
Let the woman speak. I want to hear this. What did he do?
so we first were throwing tomatoes. And then the cops came by, so we dropped the tomatoes and the house and the bushes and the other house that was next to us, and then we were doing the peace signs. Boy, you forgot part of that story.
So there was a reason.
I'm kind of glad. I didn't know I was, tomato hunting.
Yep.
Yeah, the cops show up. Oh, quick! It's the cops. Ditch the tomatoes.
My entire life, when I would hear this story, it would always be like, we weren't doing anything wrong. We were just
No,
doing
no.
peace signs.
I
And
honestly,
only to this day, at the ripe age of 21, I'm hearing that you were tomatoing things.
Yep.
I honestly thought it was just us doing peace signs. I didn't know the whole tomato incident.
Nope, it was me and Denise. We were throwing tomatoes.
All right. Well, I got another memory, and then I tried to bring it up to Mom, and she doesn't remember it. Do you remember? I think we all went down. When I used to grow up out there, it was always the summer. It was hot, so I think I wore jeans, but I never really wore a shirt. And we were riding bikes, but there wasn't enough bikes, so we had to ride. I think it was either one of us was riding the bike. I was with the twins, and then one of us rode on the handlebars. And we went out to the supermarket that's right by your guys' house. This is a very small town, by the way, guys. And everything's just like one little strip. So we went down there, and on the way back, I think I convinced one of the twins it was either like let me ride the bike with them on the handlebars or vice versa. And we hit like a curb or something like that. And we were going pretty fast, and it tore all the skin off my back. Right? So when we got back to the house, we tried to cover it up. So we put a dirty shirt on me, and the plasma of the blood and stuff like that stuck to the shirt. And we went upstairs, and we're all trying to play nonchalant because Mom, Dad, Linda, and Earl all came back home, right? And we're all like, oh, we weren't supposed to go out. That's right. We weren't supposed to go anywhere. And we snuck back into the house. And Mom sees, the blood all over my shirt's all soaked with blood on the back. So she panics and she rips the shirt off with a large part of my skin that had dried to the shirt, which lit me up, right? And then because Dad wasn't there, he was still with Earl. It was Linda and my mom that came back, and then my mom pours peroxide all over my back.
Oh, good Lord! I remember the wreck because I remember us, and and you did have the twins on the handlebars, and because they was not very graceful at all, and you were still pretty young, and which you weren't graceful at that time either, but the sidewalks always had bumps in it because they weren't, they were just old. They didn't fix them very well. And you hit a bump and you guys fell because there was like the sidewalk, and then you had a little bit of grass, and then you had like a concrete ledge before you got to the road, and you fell over to the other side. So
Yeah, I took a pretty good fall on that one because like literally they poured you can see like all the sinew and stuff. It was literally just like sheet ripped off my skin. And then Dad came home and he heard me screaming, and he's like, "What'd you do?" And then Mom's like, "She just dumped." They didn't even put like on a swab. They just poured the bottle on my. They took me outside and just poured the bottle on my back. So it, like lit
Oh,
me.
good, nice. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, God.
I've told this story to a friend of mine. I have. I was telling him lore. It was like over like an audio recording on Instagram, and we were just sharing like childhood stories. And I was like, "Oh, this is some fun dad lore," and I just like said it exactly what you just said, and there was just silence. Like he didn't know how to respond to it. And he's like, "This explains so much about you and why you're raised the way that you are." Because this is the man that did it.
I will say that our family,
we're funny.
well, not just.
I'm sorry, but we're funny.
No, but like our family, like our, the Minikis and the Eliks, we have such a massive tolerance for pain because we've just been through the ringer. But it was.
Do you remember jumping when we were down at oh shoot, the fishing Montauk? Do you remember going to Montauk?
Yeah, I remember some of the times we would go down there fish. I know we went like every year, but I don't remember all of
Yeah,
it.
it was several times a year you guys would drive because that's a little further on the east side. And we would jump in its current river, which is extremely a spring-fed thing. And you fell on the rocks a few times. You got hurt down there too. And we rode bikes down there as well. And but the cold water really helped out a lot down there. But yeah, we used to wipe out down there, ride bikes down there all the time. And that was our favorite place to go, besides Branson. Now, we went to Branson a lot, too.
Yeah, we went to Silver Dollar City a lot together, but that explains a lot. I know that I've taken, honestly, a lot of abuse, but I didn't know I was, like, falling, like, head first in the street. Yeah, you used to fall on the rocks quite a bit. That explains quite a bit about me.
Yep. But you were a daredevil, though. Like, they could get you to do... Your sisters could get you to do anything. All they had to do was say you were chicken, and you just were on top of it.
I do remember, like, it was a typical thing back in the day. You always hear I got to put this little puzzle piece
the
that
puzzle
they make me do.
there.
They used to always make me, you always hear the thing, like, hold my beer.
Yes. Yeah, the hold my beer, or what is that? Watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
Watch this.
But I literally would. I mean, like, I do remember it as anytime there was something stupid to do, it was like, hey, Mike, do it. And I was like,
Oh,
no.
yes.
And they're like, you're chicken. Okay, I'll prove you all wrong. I'll go, like, do this death-defying stunt.
And that definitely was true for you. Absolutely, 100%.
That was the way it stayed, like, all the way up to, it was all the way up to about... God, until I was about 20, until I actually had cat. All until about had cat. Anybody dared me to do something, I was like, all right, let's do it. And I was pretty fearless at that time. As I get older, I get a little bit more attached to myself, and don't want to do that anymore. but there was this one time the people in the comments know, but there was one time I tried to jump over a Pontiac Fiero because I was dared, and I didn't make it. I just kind of flew off the windshield and bounced, rolled over the car. I broke a rib. It was like, or maybe a couple. I don't know. It was a while back. So it was. I do want to say before we end the show that the parts I can remember, because I honestly don't remember that much anymore. I would say that out of all the family members, because a lot of people in the audience don't know, but I have 3 sisters. I have one brother who just recently passed, right behind my father. It was like about 9 months apart before they passed, just this last year, actually. You know what I mean?
1 month apart as well.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, it was about a year apart, but it was very close back to back. Both my brother and my father died, and it was us kids, and we're like the Bundys. We all fought constantly, but we were all still, like. We could fight with each other, but if someone else tried to take on the family, we would just fuck them up.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how it was.
Like you mess with the family, we would come after you in the most disrespectful way, and we'd make you pay. And so, but whenever it was a family thing, we were tight. And I know that for a while there was a time when you guys were the only family we would come down and visit. It was the greatest time, like my childhood memories, what I can remember. I would tell Kat, always dealt with Uncle Earl, Linda, and you and the twins. And it was something that whenever mom and dad would say, "Hey, we're gonna go down to Fredericktown," we were excited because it was a chance to hang out with like our relatives that we love the most. And for a while there, I believed Denise tells me this, and I don't remember it fully. I know that you guys used to come to our house quite a bit
Mhm.
as well, up to us. But didn't we all like live together one time?
I don't think we lived together. I don't remember living together. I do know that we were at each other's house a lot. Like that's and we camped a lot. Like we had the tents and you guys had the camper. We
Yeah,
did a lot of that a lot as well. That's probably why you're thinking we lived together because we did that a lot in the summertime.
there is a funny story about that. So my dad, there was this one time we all went camping. I believe it was in the late. It was before we got a. You guys had there was a back in the 70s. There was a old school camper where you attached to the back of the car, and you had to get out. For you guys that are young in the comments, you probably don't know this, but you actually had to get out and take a big crank, and you had to crank the camper up, and the lid came up, and then the sides came out, and it was like cloth, terry cloth, with like little patch windows and stuff,
Hmm.
and that was the camper, right? And I remember that dad, I had gotten in trouble because I got in trouble a lot. I mean, like almost all the time. And I had to sit with dad, and everybody else had to go to bed. So Denise and them guys were all up in bed with mom. Dad and Earl's and Linda still sitting outside. Well, Dad and Earl we used to drink, eat a lot of barbecue and drink beer all night long. And I got in trouble, and I had to go sit with dad. And Earl and Linda were sitting on the steps to get into this. And as they're going on it, one of the twins comes around the thing, and Linda's all like, "What are you doing out of the camper? You're supposed to be in bed. Get in there and get in bed." And the twin didn't say nothing. She just goes inside, goes to bed. A few minutes later, another twin comes around the camper, and Linda goes, "What did I say? You're supposed to get in bed now." So the twin goes in the camper. Well, I shit you not. In a few more minutes, another twin comes around the corner. And Linda goes, "Get in the camper." And Dad goes, wait a minute. How many kids you guys got?" And then it dawned on them that they only have two, the twins. The camper, the latch where you sleep didn't tie off. So each
Hmm.
time a twin got in, the other twin fell out.
Yep,
And they
I
would come
remember
back
that. Yep,
around.
they didn't button it or zip it or something. Yep.
And so we just had this revolving door of like, Dad's all like, "Hey, wait a minute. I'm pretty drunk, but how many kids did you have?" And then the twins weren't saying nothing. They just kept falling out the side. Oh my God. It was a good, I loved everybody. No, you guys were the best. I love going down there. We had the dad and mom's silver anniversary down there. Or
Yeah.
what else? The 25th, right? At your guys' back at the backside of your house.
Yes, in the back of the house. Yes, because our we had the biggest house and everyone came there. Yes, and to be honest, I love the parties and stuff, but to clean before and after, because our mom made your Aunt Linda made us do that, and yeah, we didn't like that part.
I
But
got
I
you.
I did learn how to tap a keg at 10, so there is
Yeah,
that.
that's what back in the days. I don't know how far we can go with this, but back in the day, man, that was like we go out the barbecues. The barbecues were something fierce. We would have every piece of food that you could think of out there, and we would go down there and we would chow down. Like we get up in the morning, and then we chow down all night long. Us kids would go out and play and get into trouble and stuff like that. Dad and all the adults were out there, but yeah, one thing was is that we had to tap a keg at an early age, and then anytime like dad would always like, "Hey, go get me a beer," and we go get them a beer, and obviously we down one for us, and then go get them a beer, down one for us, and good times.
Yeah, well, they taught us how to pour it and everything.
Yeah,
As long as we were there, that was what it was. That's how it
yeah.
was.
Well, Dad used to do that a lot when I was a kid. When me, Denise, when we first learned how to swim, it wasn't like, "Hey, go in there and just breaststroke," or go like this. Dad's like, "Here, drink this. All right,
But oh
swim."
yes, just
That was
threw your
literally
ass
how I
in or
learned.
threw you in. Yep.
Yeah, he threw you in. He's all like, either sink or die or get out. And
Yep.
then like you just learned really fast. And that was like the answer to almost everything. All right, so we did go past time. Before we end this, I'm going to like walk us out. Does anybody have any last minute questions for Sandy on anything that we discussed tonight? Now's the time to do it. The anticipation's killing me. While you guys do that, I'll walk us out. So Sandy, just go ahead one more time, announce who you are, where they can find you, and then I'll do that right after you.
All right. My handle is White Raven Holistic, and I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram and YouTube, and it all is White Raven Holistic. And those are the places that you can find me. So I'm a functional medicine practitioner, and I teach people how to meditate. I love it. I health coach, and like I said, I can't wait till I retire and have another adventure.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And then Brenda in the comments said, thank you so much, Sandy. She learned so much. Veronique, thank you. That was amazing live.
Marion said I want all the dirt on my
Marion does not get all, me and Marion have become very close.
Marion can have anything she
And
wants.
she can like Marion, I'm like a puppet. She'll just I do whatever she says. And but she cannot
Opposite of your mother, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. But Marion always wants the dirt on me, and I won't let her have all the dirt.
I will literally give it to her.
Yeah.
She just has not asked me yet.
So my name is Mike Manicki. I'm an author of thriller books, mostly suspense thrillers, horror books. You can find my stuff on Amazon. I have a YouTube channel. I'm on Patreon. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm somewhat on Facebook. You can find me there. Go ahead and follow us. Check things out. Marianne said, seriously, thank you, Sandy. It was nice hearing everything. Had a great time, so that was all good. And then Marianne is a good detective. She is. This is my co-host, Kat Manicki. My daughter also helps me out with a lot of my projects going on. I got to be careful what I say online, but I do have an apparel company now. If it's on Etsy, if you guys want to check that out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get dinged for that. But thank you guys so much. Once again, thank you, Sandy, for joining us. You guys have all a beautiful evening.
Bye.